Hi everyone, I'm just going to walk you through the adjustments you'd make to the standard setup to hit the highest shot. So we're going to talk about how you would stand differently, set the club up differently and swing differently in order to produce the highest flying, softest landing pitch shot around the green. I'm going to start by just using the club face here and opening the club more to give myself a little bit more loft. And then I'm going to position the ball slightly closer to my front foot. This is going to encourage me to have a shaft that's very vertical or even slightly back or behind the ball. The danger with setting up with the shaft slightly back like that is it can encourage the golfer to hit too far behind the ball. So we're going to talk about how to try and avoid that, but by setting up with the face more open and the shaft slightly back, you're giving yourself the chance to hit the ball much higher. And then from a down the line perspective, I'm actually going to now stand further from the ball, allowing the shaft to sit lower at address. Previously we've had the shaft much more upright for the standard and the low shot, but for the high shot I want to have the handle much lower. And now during the swing, to ensure that I make good contact, I'm going to feel a couple of differences in my release as I hit the ball. Number one is I'm going to really feel like I'm adding loft to the club face as I come through. So that's going to mean my lead wrist here is going to cup or extend as I go through the ball. So I'm going to be adding loft. I'll show you what that looks like. And secondly, I'm going to really ensure that my turn of my body continues to open as I go and hit the ball. Very often with this shot, because it's usually needed or required when you have to hit a high shot that's not going to go too far, golfers can stall and stop with their body and end up getting really bad contact, either hitting the ground too hard or topping the ball across the green. So I'm just going to ensure that I keep opening up with my body and my turns, and I allow the club to release past my body. I'll show you what that looks like now. All the time as I'm making practice swings here, I'm mindful of where my club's hitting the ground. I'm really mindful of watching where the club is bottoming out. So as I come through here, I've had more cupping in my lead wrist, and the club is finished much closer to my body than it would have done for the standard or even the lower shot. Okay, that ball came out much higher, landed and stopped well within maybe 1 or 2 meters of where it landed. That was more like an 80%, maybe 90% through the air, 10% along the ground.